Wow! What in this world could be more encouraging than practicing these things? Greetings, dear audience. I am Anish, and I, along with my friend Daksh, shall host today's assembly as a tribute to women and girls in the field of science.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for introducing me, Anish. Science and gender equality are both vital for the achievement of the internationally addressed development goals of all nations. Over the past decades, the global community has made a lot of effort in inspiring and engaging women and girls in science. Yet, women and girls continue to be excluded from participating fully in science.
Yes, friends. And so, in order to achieve full and equal participation in science for women and girls and further achieve gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls through this, the United Nations General Assembly has declared 11th February as the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. But first things first, so let's begin today's assembly by expressing our gratitude to the Lord Almighty and embracing the positivity of movement, starting with the prayer song on which our classmate Rishi Mishra is performing.
I start my day thanking you, Lord, for creating this wonderful world. Every day you bless me, you make me very happy. You are my God from up above, and you came down to show your love. You are my King, my Majesty. Oh Jesus, lead away from me. You teach me how to love and obey. I'll do whatever you say. You teach me how to share and pray. I'll worship you all day. Hey, everybody, I'll follow Jesus every day, like Mama Mary. I hope and pray. Everybody, I follow Jesus every day, like Mama Mary. I hope and pray. Let's follow Jesus every day. I start my day thanking you, Lord, for creating this wonderful world. Every day you bless me, you make me very happy. You are my God from up above, and you came down to show your love. You are my King, my Majesty. Oh Jesus, lead away from me. You teach me how to love and obey. I'll do whatever you say. You teach me how to share and pray. I'll worship you all day. Hey, everybody, I'll follow Jesus every day, like Mama Mary. I hope and pray. Everybody, I'll follow Jesus every day, like Mama Mary. I hope and pray. Let's follow Jesus every day. Everybody, I'll follow Jesus every day, like Mama Mary. I hope and pray. Everybody, I'll follow Jesus every day, like Mama Mary. I hope and pray. Let's follow Jesus every day. Let's follow Jesus every day.
Thanks, Rishi. That is indeed a reverential beginning. Coming back to the topic of our assembly, I would like to add that the presence of God is perceived in each one of us. Everything is created twice, first in the mind and then in reality. and what you create in your mind becomes the reality. And that is the power of positive thinking. With positive thoughts and hard work, we can become achievers.
Absolutely, Daksh. Being positive and being consistent are the strongest tool that we can use to bring felicity, manage stress, and skillfully approach the challenges that pose a problem in the path to our success.
Yes, you are right, Anish. But the lack of regard for gender equality in the minds of the people hampers the growth and success of women and girls, specifically in the field of science. And that's why we have been assigned the theme for our assembly.
Very well, Daksh. Let's make an effort to bring forth, recognize, and make an effort to rectify this problem. And for that, we have a theatrical presentation in which we will hear from a few lady scientists about their experiences.
Hello everyone, my name is Marie Curie. I was born in Warsaw on November 7th, 1867, in the family of a secondary school teacher. I received my general education from local schools and some scientific training from my father. In 1891, I went to Paris to continue my studies at the Sorbonne, where I obtained the licentiateships in physics and mathematical sciences. I met Pierre Curie, a professor in the School of Physics. In 1894 and the following year, we were married. Although the conditions those days were quite tough, our experiments were often performed under difficult conditions. Laboratory arrangements were quite poor, and both of us had to undertake teaching to earn a livelihood. My husband, Pierre, left for his heavenly abode too soon. After his tragic death in 1906, I took his place as the professor of general physics in the Faculty of Science. This was the first time when a woman held this position. In 1896, I was inspired to research and analyze about the radioactivity which led to this isolation of polonium, named after the country of my birth, and radium. I developed methods for the separation of radium from radioactive residues in sufficient quantities to allow for its characterization and the careful study of its therapeutic properties in particular. The importance of my work is reflected in the numerous awards bestowed upon me. I received many honorary science, medicine, and law degrees and honorary memberships from the learned societies throughout the world. Together with my late husband, I received a Nobel Prize in Physics in 1903 for our work in spontaneous radiation. In 1911, I received a second Nobel Prize, this time in chemistry, for my work to radioactivity. In 1903, I also received the Davy Medal of the Royal Society. And then, in 1921, President Harding of the United States, on behalf of the women of America, presented me with 1 gram of radium to the recognition of my work and service to science. Thank you, everyone, and I hope that listening to the story of my life, more and more girls get inspired and get attracted to the field of science.
Wow, that's a lot of achievement, Madam Curie. None of us knew so much about you. Thanks for honoring us by addressing our audience today.
Yes, thank you, madam. There is so much that we have learned from you today. Let's see who else is here for a guest appearance.
Greetings to you all. I am Maria Goepet Mayer. I am here today to tell you all about my story and how I achieved success in the world of science in a male dominated world. My father was a professor and understood the importance of education. I gained entry to Göttingen University. which was significant for a woman at that time. I originally planned to study mathematics but quickly switched to physics. Top physicists at the university recognized my talent and appreciated it. After completing my PhD and thesis, I married Joseph Mayer in 1930 and we moved to America. I remember my father always said, Maria, don't grow up to be a woman. And what he really meant by that was, don't just become a housewife. But despite my academic reputation, I found difficulty in obtaining teaching positions even in America. So for 3 decades, I followed my husband from Johns Hopkins University to Columbia University and later the University of Chicago. At each university, I worked as a research associate. But because of anti-nepotism rules, none of these universities gave me a salary or a full-time position. But the urgency of World War II prompted the US government to treat my expertise with more respect than any of the major universities did. I was volunteering at Columbia in the late 1930s and early 1940s when the university was conducting top secret research to enrich uranium for an atomic bomb. After Pearl Harbor, I started helping on the bomb research for which I was paid by the US government. I also worked briefly with Edward Teller on the Manhattan Project in Los Alamos, where they were developing the hydrogen bomb. I was vehemently anti-Hitler and totally unaware that the weapon I was helping to create might be used on German friends and family. In fact, later on when my part of the project failed, I even expressed relief. After the war, while at a yet another unpaid position at the University of Chicago, I received an offer of part-time work at Argonne National Laboratory, a center for nuclear physics. Although I didn't know anything about nuclear physics and even remember protesting against the job offer. But 2 years later, when I was in my early 40s, I developed an explanation of atomic nucleus structure. It was in 1949 that I proposed that inside the nucleus protons and neutrons are arranged in a series of nuclear layers, very much like the layers of an onion with neutrons and protons spinning around their axis, and the center of the nucleus at each level. 1963, I was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics for my nuclear shell model. But that time, the University of California, San Diego, had hired me for a full-time position, more than a decade after my discovery of the nuclear shell model and 30 years after the beginning of my career as a scientist. I hope that many girls and women will get inspired from my story and will be attracted towards the field of science. Thank you to everyone.
Wow. Thank you, ma'am. I feel honored to have heard you and Madam Curie speak today. I'm sure that our audience realizes that a person's passion for their work, even against all odds, makes them stand out and outstanding.
Yes, Anish, well said. I agree with you. Both our guests today have proved that we shouldn't let anything come between us and our passion to achieve. We have had the honor of interacting with two superwomen of science today, but there are still hundreds of relatively unknown women who have changed the world with their research throughout history. So, it's only apt that we celebrate all those science superstars of the past and present amid a global push to get more girls interested in science, engineering, technology, and math.
Yes, you're right, Daksh. So, doing just that, next we have another one of our classmates reciting a famous poem on women. Let's hear him out.
She has the soul of a storm and the freedom of the wind. She has eyes like stars with moonshine within. With the strength of the sea and lightning in her toes, she dances on the breeze of the change, wherever she goes. hotter than a volcano, and deeper than the oceans. A whirling, swirling myriad of feelings and emotions. She is daughter of the earth, primordially inspired. She is water, she is wood. She is earth, she is fire.
Wow, that was a lovely message we got through the poem. It is now the need of the hour to recognize the role of women and girls not only in the field of science, not only as beneficiaries, but also as agents of change in view of accelerating progress towards world achievement which focuses on equity, diversity, and inclusion. And on that note, I, Anish, and my friend Daksh, along with the rest of our classmates, shall be signing off for the day.
Yes, friends, we sincerely hope you enjoyed watching our assembly just as much as we enjoyed putting it up. Thank you and have a nice day.